Let's check the men in white in charge of proceedings here today. Wearing number 1 is David Howlett, the 35-year-old sales manager. The 29-year-old police officer, Tim Pfeiffer from South Australia, is with him. And 42 is Vince Sercia, who is a bank officer, so he could be very handy to know. As we go down to the boundary line, and welcome to our telecast, the fly, Russell Morris. It's been an emotional opening to the day, Russell.
It certainly has, Sandy. Look, I think it's very much a danger game for the Tigers today. There's a lot of talk about Richmond finishing in 8th position, but also there's a lot of talk about Richmond beating North next week. Today they have to beat Fitzroy. And I've been speaking to a close friend of mine who's a big Richmond supporter, the Pygmy, and he's a big chance, and he thinks that Fitzroy are a big chance.
Okay, thank you, Russell. It's also a warm welcome to another former champ of the game, Malcolm Blight. Welcome, Malcolm.
Hi, Sandy. How are you?
Well, I think we're going to be in for a great struggle here. There's Justin Charles, Darren Gaspar.
And Sandy, Brad Boyd's gone back to full-back to pick up Richardson. He had that role in their previous game before he came off injured.
And he has tasted victory early on because Fitzroy has won the toss and are kicking towards the scoreboard end. It's an overcast day here in Melbourne. Pretty dark at the moment. But let's see as Fitzroy prepares to play its final game in Melbourne. The opening bounce. Can they win it out of the centre? No, they can't. It's ripped out of the middle by Broderick. He tears it onto the left foot, goes quickly inside 50 towards Richardson. He gives away a little ground. A little chip is short. It's going to be okay. Picked up by Campbell. Wayne Campbell heads for home with a left foot kick for goal and puts her behind. So the Tigers very rapidly into attack and quickly opening. No rain as yet, but it is very overcast as Pike appears to bring the ball back into play. Gee, almost went over the mark. Merenda got a hand to it, was unable to complete it, is able to keep it in play and paddles it along, trying to accommodate either himself or Matthew Rogers. And a bit of feeling. Brett Chandler.
He's got the job on Merenda, Sandy.
Yes, I'd have to agree with that kick-off then, Sandy. It was looked to me to be clearly over. Gale at the back, taps it over brilliantly. Naish, taken out of it by Pike. Picked up brilliantly also there by Warfe. Has to go to ground. Carter comes back to help out. Paxman can't get hold of it. Now Johnson caught by Campbell. They're trying to work them's way out of trouble here. Warfe just slaps it away towards the line. And picking up and covering it beautifully is Naish to Merenda. Back to Broderick and kicks on the outside of his boot cleverly to Charles. Charles runs, sets it up for Richardson. It's a great kick. It's a fantastic mark.
Well, it looked a bit iffy to start with Richardson. I think he was going to get there, and Bond was the player that was free in front of him. And I expected the spoil to come from Boyd, and Bond would have been in good position to pick up the crumbs, but Boyd couldn't get a hand to it. And in the end, a terrific mark by Richardson.
So Matthew Richardson, remarkable recovery after that knee injury early last season. Kicking for his 79th goal, which is a great reward for this terrific young player. Unfortunately, pushes it to the right and misses the lot.
Paxman to bring it back into play. Just got his century. Game number 101 for Stephen Paxman. Kicks towards the half-back flank. They're not out of trouble yet. They tried to push it down towards Knights and Gale, who's also there. Atkins coming in over the top, and the umpire comes in deciding upon a bounce.
Sandy, I was actually at this game when they played last time at the Whitten Oval, round 6, and it was only 20 points in it at half-time. Fitzroy were very competitive that day. Richmond got on top in the second half.
Yeah. They've got a chance to clear this time through Rombotis to the outer side. Finds the boundary line in front of Merenda. John Rombotis, one of the few, in fact, one of only 4 Fitzroy players to have played every game this season. They've turned them over in looking for the right formula, and of course haven't been helped by injuries. Rombotis in there once again. He's at the bottom of that pack. A bounce on the outer side. Crowd has built up considerably, which is great to see. Slapped forward by Knights towards the half-forward line. Flick back again towards Campbell. He's taken out of it. Also under pressure was Hawking. Atkins can't take it cleanly. An attempted soccer off the ground. Only goes as far as Bond. Gets a short little kick wide towards the wing. Gale beaten for it by Manfield. Overrun. Chance for Broderick to paddle it out. Oh! Some good heavy work going on there. And it's eventually over the line on the outer side. Rombotis. Damien Ryan feeling plenty. And a throw in.
Thrown in, centre wing. Charles and Primus. Primus tries to grab it out the air, does. Tries to soccer it off the ground. Broderick working hard in underneath. In the back there to a Fitzroy player, not seeing. Dent gives it off brilliantly. Clever play by Rombotis. Sets up Fitzroy. Big long kick into the forward line, and in front Tate paid the mark, called play on. Kellaway. Charles is caught. Here's McCarthy. Swings round. Has players running for him. Richmond get back there in numbers, and Tate tries to keep it inside the line but can't, so out of bounds, and a throw in the forward pocket.
As we said, an overcast day, expecting some rain later, and appear to have reached the expected top of 19. Broderick's picking up a lot of touches early on in this game. Gives it to Bond on the half-back flank, drifts it to centre wing, and Rogers. He's away. Another left-footer towards Knights. Oh, they're looking all right now. Knights goes in towards Richardson, and that's too easy.
Terrific running by Knights, and the kick coming in from Rogers, just spot on. Didn't have to change stride. And then once Richardson has that sort of space to run into, there's the kick to Knights, and he just turns Richardson into that space. Well played.
So he attempts again his first goal for the day. A floating drop punt. I think that's questionable too. Another behind.
I didn't think it was a particularly purposeful kick. He really just jabbed at it. No matter where you are, you've got to follow right through. And we saw with his previous kick, that breeze is quite strong at times, although as Russ will probably tell us, it's quite swirly on the ground.
Is it swirling, Russ, down there?
Yeah, Sandy, look, it's very swirly, especially in front of the southern stand and also in front of the members here. There's a lot of rubbish on the ground, and it's going nowhere, like a lot of willies, the wind taking it everywhere, so it's very difficult to judge.
Well, Atkins found that with that kick out, because Rogers has a chance to put Richmond deep into attack again. The drop punt is long towards Richardson. Ominous signs. He plays on. He kicks for goal. And he's put through another one. Hitting the woodwork. So they're piling up the behinds early on.
Yes, and Fitzroy getting caught out there with the kick out, not particularly good. Boyd had made room up the ground and couldn't get back in time to cover Richardson.
Atkins this time comes the members' side. His target is Primus. Belted clear by Charles. The big man has time to then get it out towards Broderick again. He goes to the boundary line and Bond. Bond has got Knights just about down to the 50. Matty Knights. Clever little step pass is okay. Finds Chris Naish. 35 out, but a tight angle for Naish. Matthew Knights
just fudging a bit.
Trying a con job.
Well, it's worth a try.
And it didn't work. So Chris Naish, can he break this run of 3 behind so far? No, he can't. There's number 4.
And that's the margin they lead by, 4 points to 0 to Fitzroy. So they've withstood this so far. I guess Richardson had the really good shot, didn't he, from 30 metres straight out in front. The other 3 have been from reasonably tight angles. And this interesting ploy of Atkins kicking out and then having to man up on Richardson. So if the ball comes back quickly, they're in all sorts of bother. Oh! Johnson! Nearly! Primus gets it to Pike. They're running now. Runs to 50. He'll have a shot for goal. Hooks it back to the front of the square. It's a very poor kick indeed, really. And just a point. So Chris Johnson brought this crowd, which I think, Sandy's now probably over 30-odd thousand.
Yeah, it was a great leap, but in leaping and not taking the mark, is that a free kick?
Yes, he does do that, doesn't he? Puts his hands on his shoulders. It's certainly his trait. And occasionally, if the umpire sees it, we'll ping him.
First score on the board, though, for the Lions. As Campbell brings it back into play. It's a good mark by Gasper at the back. Now he's got Tigers streaming down towards centre wing, and Gale does the shepherding for him. He gives it away to Michael Gale and says, "Thank you, Benny. I'll have a shot for goal," and he does from 40 metres out. A floating punt is good. Tigers are on the way.
Terrific setup, and well done, Darren Gasper. Terrific mark over the back. And again, the running players from Richmond just giving him an option to kick to. Knights was that player initially. He's hobbling a bit still, that ankle. And the run of Gale, he wanted to go short to Richardson. He was covered, so got himself inside. Finished off well.
For the Tigers by 9 points. Really going to this first quarter. Ball favours Charles. Tries to build it away straight to Atkins. Kicks it very high and wide. Chase is on now. Caught. Cassidy gives it off to Chandler. Chandler goes back inside. Tape in front. Molloy from behind. Can't get hold of it. It's great work to Boyd. Boyd unloads and misses. So a change has been made. Brad Boyd now playing on the ball or up forward. Second point to Fitzroy.
Yes, Mellington's now gone down, Mel, to pick up Richardson. Predominantly a forward, Mellington.
8 points the margin. Campbell's away on the outer side towards Rogers. Looks so dangerous when they start running. Just starting to build towards September, but of course they've got next week to contend with as well. Wayne Campbell saying
Must have called play on.
And taking it out.
Exactly.
So a throw in on that outer side. Charles jostling with Primus. At the back was Bamford. Back towards Gale. It's Michael Gale. With him is Kellaway. Gale on all fours. Almost could have been leg. Players allowed to go on. Taking the hand passes, Ryan. Back towards right half forward. Charles is there if he's needed. Naish says, "I won't worry about you," and he doesn't. Perfect kick. If it wasn't a mark, it's a definite free kick. Some heavy work on Rogers. One of 8 players for the Tigers who've been on the job every week this year. Has not missed a game.
It's a difficult situation you're in as a player when that happens. The ball goes over your head. To get back and make a contest without interfering with the player who's setting himself for the mark. That was pretty untidy by Pike anyway.
Rogers for his first. He's kicked 10 for the season. 10-16 in fact to his name. And has been very busy early. 4 marks, 4 kicks from 46 metres. Pretty good looking kick. It's another one. Rogers gets his first, and the Tigers sneak away 2-4 to 2 behinds.
Yes, their running capacity at the moment is just finding Fitzroy out there, just unsure of their matchups, and that's terrific play by Naish just to keep his feet, control the football. And there's a bit of untidy work from Pike.
Back in the centre. Margin now 14 points. Charles just puts it down just near the player's legs. Sock it off the ground. Bond. Favoured position. Naish does very well with the hands to Campbell. Knights under pressure here. Sensed it and went back to Campbell. Just missed. Now has player in support. Or Powell, that is. This at the Knights and excellently knocked off the ball as he kicked. And Martin Pike will take the free kick. So Fitzroy under pressure. Some good work out of the centre. They've really gone forward with the 3 pushes out of the centre so far and have spent a fair bit of time with the ball in their forward line. No Pike. It's high kick. Primus in the favoured spot. Should mark it, doesn't. Comes to ground. Given off to Manfield, to Atkins. Atkins with a lovely kick. Gave his player every chance in Hawking. Take first to recover, goes back, needs support from behind, got it into Merenda, now chased by Hawking, gets his kick underway. Gale, metres in the clear. Oh, Rogers, this is a soda. It'll come to Campbell, to Rogers, who'll probably get it next. He wants to play on, he has, and just over-enthusiasm there from Wayne Campbell. All he had to do was just dwell and hold the footy. They haven't cleared the area. Paxman has to stand, then deliver. Kicks it very high. Merenda goes early, not taken over Chandler. Gale gives it off to Broderick. Swings the ball back around. Johnston comes at Naish and gives the free away.
Well, the umpire saying there, Vince Sercia saying that he was held on to. I would have thought initially it was too high.
Yes, I've seen him in that situation many times, Chris Johnston. He's taken a big jump. The ball must have wobbled around in the breeze. I agree with you. I was watching Matthew Naish before, Ross, that he just really does a bit of a wobble, hasn't he?
Just a little bit of a wobble. Obviously, still some soreness there, but he's getting around the park all right.
At his best, a beautiful kick normally. Kicks, just floats it across. Richardson there and under pressure across the line. So it's 2-5 to 2 points.
There's a definite limp there.
Just under 11 minutes remaining. First quarter, 15 points the margin. Favouring the Tigers. Atkins to bring it back into play. The Carter lead is ignored. He elects to go long down towards the centre of the ground. Chandler. Well, they're not out of trouble yet. Mellington gives it over the top towards Atkins. Also under pressure, but gets it towards centre wing. And the diving mark taken by Scotty Bamford. In just his 21st game, so many inexperienced players in this lineup looking for a new football home as Charles plays on quickly to Kellaway. Another one to Gasper. They've got them streaming down the outer side. And that's where he heads, towards Jamie Tape. Tape is clear. He has a look down towards Richardson, who comes steaming out and marks 55 out. Wants to go on with it. Bond is in the pocket. And did not appreciate the attention he received.
He's been a bit of a goal kicker this year, Chris Bond. 17 coming to this game, just with the 3 last year. Oh, that's untidy.
To Rogers, a goal. So Rogers gets his second. And ominous signs now for Fitzroy.
Ross, at the start of the year when Mick Noonan had him, he tried to develop this run forward game and set it up with great skills. Soon as turned over like that situation, it's a cakewalk back, isn't it?
Exactly. So you've got to be very prepared that if you're going to give the ball off and run past or through a line, that you hit your target. If you don't, then the ball turns over so very quickly, you're out of position. And as we found out there again, Richmond players just taking full toll of that.
Centre bounce. Primus gets a big run out of it, but they don't win it out of the centre. Broderick's picked up a lot of touches earlier. Applied the tackle. That was good. Knight's there also. To ground goes Naish, trying to lock it up there. And the umpire letting it go until eventually deciding that he will come in for a bounce still in the centre. Brett Chandler picking himself up. Look at those marks in the first quarter. 19 to 3. Still basically in the middle. Charles again has battled with a Primus but can't take it cleanly. Bamford's in trouble. He loses it to Broderick. Broderick changes direction towards Rogers. Gee, those two have been busy. Tumbles a punt up towards half forward. Chris Johnson is there and he's going to have a red hot go today. He's given away a free kick and he is not at all happy. Just tries to pop it over the top to Benny Gale. Goes back to Michael. Here's an opportunity now for the Tigers. Here comes Richardson. 1-2 grabs.
At this stage of the game, Sandy, to show Richmond's dominance, they've almost had 40 more possessions.
Richardson, 5 kicks, 5 marks. Yes, it's no complacency anyway by Richmond. If there were any thoughts about that. Here's Richardson from 46 metres. Drop punters away to the right. That's behind number 3 for him. And 3-6 plays 2 behinds. Could be far worse.
This is better. They've found Mellington from the kick out. Atkins is there. He's ignored. Now goes much longer. So big pack of players here. And Richmond are winning this. Tawney Anything in the air, Richmond seen to grab hold of. Kick forward, Gale. Yes, you almost say you get the feeling, but I've seen him do this before, Fitzroy, and then they've actually come back. That's a beautiful kick to Richardson. They've just shown a bit of fight. It's just a matter of getting that first goal on the board, because they can run and kick. Richardson not confident. This time he just kicks it and puts it at the front of the square. Over the back tape. Dent's there as well. Tape tries to knock it in and then carried over the line by Baldwin. So a boundary throw in, forward pocket. Richmond into attack, where they have been for most of this quarter.
Jason Baldwin, one of the veterans of this side, 125 games. Look at those kicks, as Ross said. Tigers getting plenty. Campbell looking for another one. Gives the hand pass out towards Broderick. From a standing start, he pumps it high towards full forward. Guess who at the back? He looks around for confirmation from the umpire and doesn't get it. So away goes Martin Pike. The Lions for the moment out of the danger zone to the outer side, and the mark taken by Matthew Manfield.
Manfield, kick smothered. Oh, this is,
well, look at this.
Untidy. Rogers, he can run and kick his third or give it to Richardson. He's got two options. He's got to make up his mind now and does. So he kicks his third, and the Tigers have got their fourth.
Yes, and again another skill error there. The kick coming off half-back, smothered. Forward you go, as Richmond do. And Rogers just running into space. Did the right thing too. Had a bounce, tried to draw Mellington. Just sat beautifully for him. Here's the bounce. Waited for Mellington to come. He sat back. Did the right thing.
3 goals to Matthew Rogers. Had only 10 for the season. Primus beaten by Charles, but taken away by Atkins. Here's an opportunity now for Bamford, but he's caught and has been pinged by guess who? Broderick.
37 touches last time they played, Sandy. Got 3 votes.
6 kicks so far for Broderick. Should have had Naish, who's given away a free kick for holding. No, it's not going to be paid. So McCarthy plays on, does get the hand pass away. It finishes with Rohan. Warfe can bounce his way up towards the forward line, chops his way through, then kicks up towards right half forward flank. Not a good kick. Kellaway, a chance to clear, pops it over the top, and the defence doing it well. Here's Broderick again. Kick number 7 finds Wayne Campbell. Short little chip is okay for Bond. There's loose players everywhere. Knights. Well, Pike, in fact, intercepts on that occasion and takes the mark. And he comes clear. Pops it over the top towards Scotty Bamford. One bounce, and Bamford will look down towards the half-forward line. Still waiting for their first goal. Hawking can't take the mark. The Tiger defence is resolute. Bond has it on centre wing.
Gives it off back inside to Campbell. Gee, really too many easy kicks out here on a footy ground. Big long handball in the centre. No one's on Rogers. Got no idea who's on him. Kicks and gives it up. Paxman takes off. Caught. Has to unload it. Goes to Johnson, half-back. Now looks, kicks, and finds Atkins. Has a player running through in Rombotis. Now he is clever. Can he use the footy? Runs himself out of room and then has to kick under pressure. So therefore the ball falls and a free kick given away. So once again the use of skill by Fitzroy just not going as Cassidy gives it away.
Merenda is the target. Was pushed in the back and he'll be free kick.
It's only the 4th free kick for the game, Sandy, and they've all gone to Richmond.
Rombotis a little too enthusiastic. Merenda's kick down towards Benny Gale. Applying the tackle was Powell. Johnson trying some fancy work out the back, has it stolen. An opportunity for Powell. Chip in towards the forward line. Rogers another possession. Hand pass a little too quick. Trying to chop his way clear as Warfe. And does so. Comes through half-back. Looks towards centre wing. Gale shows courage. Backing into the pack, and he's still standing up. Well done, Michael Gale. Off to Broderick. Broderick gives it to Gasper, and the Tigers are looking okay. Into the half-forward line. Richardson, this time well spoiled. Primus in front of the pack. Leaves it for his teammate. But he gives it away to Campbell. Campbell chips in towards goal, and Richardson marks on the line, but he'd gone over, and it's one behind. (4-7) plays 2 behinds. 11 effective scoring shots to 2.
Yes, it's an absolute domination here by Richmond, and Fitzroy continue to play that attacking style game. Kick out, Primus. Looks at the ground. This is Paxman running through the centre. Nice direct play. Need a mark at the back here. Contest at least. The ball falls over the back. Richmond there in numbers. Eventually Kellaway gets it out to Ryan, and once again, oh, it must be Pike. Rogers has got time to drop it and then give it to Gale. Plays on quickly to Powell. Powell, the point kicker, has kicked another one. Gee, he really has had a lot of shots at footy since he's been in it, and at goal since he's been in the game, and it's been a lot of points and disappointing. And gee whiz, Rogers. Oh.
Yes, well, Pike is his man at the moment, Melbourne. As you know, Pike's a very attacking sort of player. It's all very well to be attacking, but if you're not getting the foot in your opponent, you sort of pick him up.
14 touches on a half-forward flank.
Close him down.
Matthew Dent brings it back into play. And this time, Primus in front, takes the mark, plays on quickly to Chandler. Running away from Knights, he gets his kick up towards half-forward. We've got just under 3 minutes remaining in this quarter, and Fitzroy are still looking for their first goal, and they don't look like getting it at the moment. Merenda, look at this again. Here he is once more. That's 50. No, said the umpire. So Powell goes back and kicks to half forward. Now the margin, gentlemen, I'm sorry to say at the moment, could be 50 or 60 points. It's not, but it could be.
Should be a lot better than what it is, Sandy, yes.
So Benny Gale directly in front. Has 28 goals for the season, 28-22, so he's marginally better than a 50-50 chance. This for number 5 for the Tigers. Well, that's a very poor kick.
I see any indication there. They've been inside 50 17 times, Richmond, in this quarter. Fitzroy 8, but they've really only just got over the 50-metre line. They've really not looked dangerous at all. But 17 times with shots at goal as well. They should be further ahead.
Dent again. This time goes straight down the middle and should find his big man. Charles, I think, almost gave away a free kick, but the umpire said play on, so Primus does, and he bounds his way down towards the half-forward line. Does it skillfully. A chip in towards centre half-forward. That is going to be okay. Brad Boyd will have a shot. So Boyd, at last getting into the action, started at the other end of the ground. Let's see if he can get their first goal on the board. Directly in front, 46 metres out. Oh, it looks okay. They're away.
As Malcolm said, all you need sometimes just to get that goal on the board, give you some sort of momentum. And Boyd's probably their best chance going forward because he can take a grab overhead. And Primus showing some agility here and some good sense, just keeping control of the football, not giving it off. And that awkward kicking style found its target.
So can't you see the pundits, Ross, yelling, kick the ball long from fullback, and it can go quickly to centre half forward and kick a goal. It's a simple game, footy, isn't it?
Hopefully someone can take a catch.
Yes. Back in the centre, Primus. Charles was good then. Sets up Broderick. Off to Rogers. One-on-one. Contest at the back. And eventually Mellington taps it over. A boundary throw-in. 4-9. Plays 1-2. And we're down to the last minute. So just 25 points, and they've really controlled the play, Richmond, and probably 25 points is not the best result they would have wanted. It's a fine result, but not the best. Dent wants to give this off. That's why he did that. Trying to get another free kick or a 50 metres or find his teammate. Comes back inside to Pike. Pike will run, has players everywhere. Back in the centre of the ground. The ball lands, is allowed to land in the middle. McCarthy comes out to meet it. Throws his arm in. So does Gasper fumble it. And players back. Broderick over his head. Fitzroy players in numbers. Primus takes it on. Wants to go out wide. Has a player there in Carter. Carter's got it. Called play on. Now races away. bounces his way through the goals, through the centre, gives it up too easily. McCarthy back to Carter, and they work it back to Dent. So here's Dent from the top of the square, undecided, now goes out to Bowen. He can run, comes back inside, goes on his left foot, and score will not count. So that is the end of the first quarter. And at quarter time, Richmond 4-9-33, Fitzroy 1-2-8, a margin of 25 points.
Let's see what they can do in this second quarter. It's 33 playing 8. Primus up against Charles. The latter wins it down to Campbell, and he pumps it towards the half-forward line. It's going to be okay. And yes, Richardson does feel better, doesn't he, Ross? He finds Campbell. He waits as Richardson drops back. He's kicking from 55 metres. He's going to need Richardson to take a mark. He can't quite. It's tucked in the left forward pocket where there'll be a throw-in.
It's boundary throw-in. Primus tries to grab hold of it, then pulled off the ball, and will get the free kick. Gale stands the mark. So you would think one of the ones that will be drafted by other clubs. Matthew Primus kicks the ball out towards the wing. Big fly from behind, goes over the back to Campbell with his left hand, gives it to Broderick, stands, waits, now comes back in towards centre half forward, and there's that man again, Rogers. He's got his own footy today. He's got his name written on it. Here he goes, kicks long, wobbles it really, and Richardson works his way to the front. Plays on quickly with the handball, very ambitious. Under enormous pressure is Broderick, and has kicked the goal though. His first and Richmond's fifth.
Well, it was unselfish, but sometimes when you're that close, you just got to go back and take the kick yourself. It's all very well to give it off, but if you put in the player who is your target under pressure, and there he is, Matthew Sharon. Said that much of it. And there's that handball, just not quite finding the target, but Broderick good enough with evasive skills, and on his wrong foot, his right, puts it through.
Back in the centre, ball famous Primus. Charles does well, just blocks off his tap. It's pretty good stuff, and the big fella grabs it again, plays on quickly, goes out wide, and Gale. It's Richardson, in fact, accepts the mark. So Matthew Richardson, would you believe, 8 marks and 8 kicks, and yet to kick a goal, including a handball which he just set one up. So Richardson, there's a bit of breeze from right to left, so he should just aim this just outside. It's now starting to come, and a lovely kick. First goal to Richardson.
Well, he's such an important player for them to have a target like that with his height and mobility. There's a couple of perhaps questions on him regarding his plays, because I think he does duck back a bit too much rather than following the play up, and then he's kicking at times, not just because of today. It's just a little wayward, although he's spending plenty of time working on that.
45 plays 8. Richmond leading. Looking to return to the top 8 in smashing style. Charles will go for a roundhouse right here, but he doesn't get an effective belt clear. Chandler can't get away effectively either. It's finally socket off the ground down towards right half forward. Leading in the race for the ball is going to be Johnny Rombotis. It's socket clear, however, inside 50. Campbell, if he runs with it, can soccer it on. He does towards Bond. Can they make a path for him? No. Out comes Gale. That's Benny to meet him. Gives the hand pass away, but in doing so gives the football away. Johnson chanced his arm somewhat ambitiously to Baldwin. It's okay. He comes back towards the half back line, and the mark taken once again by Rombotis. Goes short. Wants his captain. And finds him. Boyd has a look down towards half forward over the head of Primus, and a good diving mark is taken by Tawney. Broderick, who's having one of those. A very good Tawney. Michael Gale Off to Naish. Naish spears it in towards the forward line. No free kick, no mark. Richardson looks back at the umpire in total disbelief, and play goes on as Molloy pops it towards the half-back line, and the mark is taken by Bamford. Plays on quickly. Back again it goes. Now he's got an opportunity to chip towards centre wing. Going to be okay. Finishes with Warfe. After coming from Dent to half forward, that's a strong mark. And finally they get a set shot at goal. Looks like Martin Warry who's going to have the shot.
Yes, and the change has been made too by Fitzroy Richardson with his third opponent. Now has Molloy. Mellington's gone forward.
So Warry kicking from 47 metres. Drop punt looks pretty good off the boot. And there's the second one to the Lions.
Yes, well, they've had very few opportunities going forward, but Marty Warry just got himself in front there. They shared the ball around. Bamford involved on a couple of occasions. Then Dent finding Warfe straight through the middle. A bit more purposeful this time. It's a pretty high kick. Well done by Warry.
Primus and Charles. Charles just flicks it out wide. So Pike tries to run through hard, does. Caught with the footy now, gets it out. Good umpiring, I reckon. Let it go a bit. And Gale's pushed in the back at a free kick. Just inside defensive 50. And one of the veterans of Richmond now, Michael Gale. Call play on. Gets through, has Broderick out wide. He absolutely must have BO. No one's near him. Comes inside. Caught, Ryan. Now under pressure. Goes to ground. And the ball eventually underneath. And a free kick going to Johnny Rombotis. Centre wing. Fitzroy now move into attack. Big fly from McCarthy from behind. Gale off to Burke. There's a player ahead of him. It's Tate. Tate just wheels around, kicks it towards Gale. Gale jumps early, can't get hold of it. Johnson reads it beautifully off the ground. Great hand through the middle. Great sharing here by Fitzroy. Ends up with Dent. Kicks out wide, and sitting back there is Mellington. So, terrific running there from Warfe to Dent to Mellington. Now we've seen a couple of shots over this side by the Richmond players in that first quarter, and they all went to the right. Let's see what this youngster can do. Kicks, goes to the right and stays to the right. So just the minor score there. And Fitzroy. Gallop along with 2 goals 3. Richmond 6-9.
But it has been a better start to the second quarter than it was the first. Broderick picks up yet another possession. The handball back over the top towards Campbell, who skips away and then pops it up towards centre wing. Charles does it with ease. And he lopes clear. Swings it into half forward. The big fly was from Richardson. He was ripped off the football. He was not free kicked, and he cannot believe it. Gets up holding his back. Johnson plays on to Atkins. Back again to Johnson. Bounces through the middle. He's still going. Another bounce. Another chop. And he gets the crowd going. Wide to Baldwin. Jason Baldwin's 80 metres out from home. Puts them inside 50 now. Over the head of Atkins it goes. Hawking couldn't take the mark. Time now for the Tiger defence to tighten up. And they do so as Gaspar comes away towards Merenda on centre wing. Not a good bounce. Merenda will take it though. There's a player down behind, a Richmond player in trouble. A frustrated Bond has flown early and given away the free kick.
He's going to come back.
Who's that player in trouble down there? No,
Charles.
Charles.
Free kick. Comes back inside to Primus. Pike reads it beautifully off hand. Now just the delivery here. Probably didn't need the bounce because the players led at him. Makes it very difficult now. Ball falls over the back. Here's Hawking onto his left foot. Kicks the ball and kicks it very ugly indeed. And out on the full.
Yes, consecutive occasions there. Pike just coming through, as you said, now taking that bounce, didn't need to. Merenda did the same thing going the other way. He took a bounce through the wing. Richardson ran at him. He went long. Wasn't the best option.
This is Kellaway. with that favoured left foot. Big fly from Hawking, gets Burke out the way. McCarthy misses the target, and Broderick just swings it round onto his right foot. Coming hard at it, how quick he is, and misses also the target. So just a bit of untidy piece of play for the last minute or so.
12.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Gale comes off the ground, is replaced by Chris Sullivan.
It's his first run. Gale, Broderick caught. Back towards Benny Gale. Clever little tap onto Naish. That's very effective by the big man. In towards Charles. Looking to hold front position. Not out of the danger zone yet. It's back to Charles. Over the top, he can go to Rogers, and he'll kick a goal. Don't worry about that. Number 4 for Matthew Rogers. Number 7 for the Tigers. 7-9 plays 2-3.
Yes, just again the numbers told with Gale just taking a bit of ruck with Charles going up to that centre-half forward area just for a moment and just losing control of the football ball and just pressure there. Good hands, first option, and Rogers, well, surprised they just haven't got someone picking him up. It's just amazing.
Now back in the centre, and the big fellas go at it. Primus wins it handsomely. Caught is Knights. No free kick. So's Bamford. Knights comes back to get it again to Broderick, and they work it out beautifully to Ryan. Ryan kicks it high. Molloy and Richardson dives for it. Just can't control it. Warfe's there, and Naish. Good pressure here. Has support from behind in Bond. Bond now uses a big long handball to Campbell. Has to go backwards to Knights, but in the middle. Matthew Knights just steadies him down. Now plays on. Now in trouble. But Campbell kept on running. He in turn goes long. It's a big high kick again. And the Fitzroy really cut it out easily with Warfe.
On the last line of defence. 51 plays 15. Tigers lead. He goes short. It's going to be okay. Finds Dent. Wants to go on with the job quickly. Was contemplating the handball. Now goes back, and Steve Paxman goes over centre wing. Big fly and an excellent grab. So Barker, well, is he going to undo his good work? Naish couldn't take it cleanly. Flicked up in the air. Primus tried to get it towards Atkins or Bamford. They're both there. It's the latter who eventually takes it and spears a pass into half forward. No mark is taken. It's locked up, and umpire Tim Pfeiffer, the police officer from South Australia, will come in and have a bounce. Oh, a little bit of frustration going on behind play. Play, however, goes on now. Campbell rides the bump. Bond back to Campbell. He's really coming into it. Gets the hand pass away to Tawney. They've got it on the half-back flank. Knights forced to use the one hand, and he almost took it. But again, Tim Pfeiffer comes in to take charge as we go down to the boundary line for the latest injury report, the fly.
Yes, Sandy, Robert Powell has a lot of difficulty in the groin and the hip area in the left leg. So I'm not too sure how he'll be going, whether he'll be coming back on the ground, but not looking too good.
Okay, free kick given away there. Going to Tawney. Tawney goes out to wing to Bond. Bond controls the kick nicely to Rogers. Swings round in towards centre half forward. Richardson in a big long lead. Can't get hold of it. Caught is Naish. Great tackle. So Fitzroy held him up.
Is he being held, Ross? I mean, he's... Never listen to him.
Well, he suggests he is, isn't he?
Suggesting? Oh, my hat.
There's the umpires. Sercia. Throws it down. Atkins goes back, puts Boyd under enormous pressure. And Richmond tied up. So we're 35 metres from the Richmond goal. They've managed a 3-goal streak this quarter to Fitzroy a 1-1. And puts it down on a nice piece of turf, a replaced piece of turf. Primus goes after the ball that he tried to get away through the ruck work. And Wayne Campbell last up. So we'll redo it again. Primus punches it back towards goals. Looks not very intelligent at all. And Merenda reads it beautifully and kicks their 8th.
Yes, and as soon as he hit it back that way, Mel, he just put his hands on his knees and said, what on earth am I doing? Quite right. If you're in that situation, don't put it back into the traffic area. Particularly when you haven't got numbers there. And more particularly, you've got someone like Merenda, who's a real goal sneak, running under the footy.
Back in the middle. Let's see what happens this time. Well, he goes for a mighty belt and gives it straight down to Merenda again, but he loses it to Atkins. He elects to go even wider. This is to Rohan Warfe. Warfe down towards the half-forward line, but only as far as that position. Merenda takes the hand pass from Tawney. Kicks back towards centre wing. They'll go forward again. Guess who? Broderick. You're correct. 50 out. 53. He kicks. Richardson, front spot. He is getting frustrated, I can tell you. Fitzroy cleared it out aside. This is Dent. He goes long and wide. And it's going to be okay. The mark is taken by Barker.
From Barker has a lead from Hawking. Got out away from Burke. So there's 2 good kicks in a row. 3, in fact, to end up with Hawking. So they've controlled this piece of play. Richmond haven't touched it from the back. Mark here required. Paxman almost goes over to the back. And there is Mellington. Atkins tries to tap it on. Tate runs hard. Spread a path for Tawney. Terrific play from Jamie Tate, and the kick's given up and out on the full.
It's the second time Michael Gale's been missed.
And Jason Baldwin kicks. Huge pack of players. And it's Mark Barker. No, John Barker. Just kicked the 8 goals this year and only 11 in his career. He's played a fair bit in defence in his short career of 46 games. And one of those, I guess, just taller than average size players. Let's see if he goes to the right as well. Kicks. No, this time he split the middle. Terrific kick. He's got there 3rd.
Well, I was going to suggest the kick coming in from Ball was going to be to the real pack situation, nothing constructive, but to expect a mark in that situation was pretty hopeful. Barker took a good grab. And the kick off the boot went left. I don't think it was intentionally going left, but it went that way, and the breeze just pushed it straight. Did well in the end.
So Barker gets his first. Fitzroy's 3rd. 3-3 plays 8-9. Primus looks to win it out of the centre, but it's taken away by Broderick off to Rogers. Now Knights giving away a little ground to Tawney, to centre wing, back to Knights. They surge it forward. Rogers, he is everywhere. 1 bounce. He's had 13 kicks, 8 marks.
He turns around quickly enough. He's had Campbell.
Look at Campbell in the square alone. Mind you, he's not on his own. There's another one. Naish.
If he had to turn around quickly, he had 5 options there, Richardson.
Chris Naish has come into this game with 29 goals for the season. From 35 metres, he's now got 30 for the season. So the quick answer from the Tigers.
And again, the ability of the Richmond players to run forward and get into space and somehow be unmarked by their Fitzroy opponents, who seem to be prepared to let them go. And even when Richardson didn't turn around quickly enough to see Campbell in the square, when he finally did, he still had a couple of options, of which one was Naish, who heads towards 200 career goals.
The margin again out to 42 points. In favour of Richmond. Won by Primus. Now here's an opportunity for Baldwin on the end of the hand pass. He was unable to take it cleanly, and Gasper controlled it beautifully. It showed excellent skills. Coming wide towards centre wing. That's great football. Taken by Sullivan, who came on earlier in the quarter, and he's got Richardson. Richardson will look towards goal, and Campbell drops back there now, running with the flight of the ball, and it had gone over on the full. fun and games for Martin Pike and Wayne Campbell. It's Pike. Richardson will be one of the flyers. Gale another. Michael Gale taken out of it. And Matthew Knights picks himself up and doesn't really appreciate some of the attention being shown him by Jarrod Molloy. There have been some busy players. Rogers 14 and 8 marks. Broderick's had 13 kicks and 10 hand passes. Boyd, there's a hand pass credited to him off towards Warfe. Yes. You can never do that.
Forgot to clench the fist in handball. Oh, dear. That was young Brett Chandler.
Here's Broderick for another possession. He's having an amazing first half. "13 kicks, 1 mark, 10 hand passes." Now Naish, centering kick. Richardson over the top. Couldn't take it all. Bending it back is Chris Sullivan and slamming it into the post. 9-10 plays 3-3.
There is Matthew Manfield just on the sideline there waiting to come on. Kick out. Primus comes late. Knights reads it well. He gives it up to Sullivan. So another shot at goal. No, goes underground with a kick to Richardson. The athletic Matthew Richardson under pressure. Pike reads it well. Just hoiks the ball away. Falls favourably to Chris Johnson. Bond ties him up. And really will be an exciting youngster, I'd suggest, for the Bears next year. Great kick. Terrific kick to Boyd. So that's 3 good kicks now. 1 to finish it off. Just a shot at goal is what Fitzroy will be looking for. And not quite. Chipping in his Gale. And breaking away, Knights. They really just don't man up on the way back, do they? Into Torn. He's playing well. Getting a lot of touches. Off to Burke. Chips the ball forward. Terrific punch away by Johnson. Really meant it. Chandler comes at it. So does Burke. Caught high. Not noticed by the umpire. So a ball in between wing and half forward. Richmond into attack.
3.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Charles, Primus, the latter wins it with the left hand, gets it down to Boyd, off to Atkins, gives away a little ground here towards Johnson, shrugs the tackle. Well, they're going nowhere fast. Pike's kick smothered, and they've lost it. Danger time again because Richardson has it speared onto his chest. He's got players in the square if he wants them. He elects to have a shot at goal for himself and pops it through. "10-10 plays 3-3. Matthew Richardson 2 goals now, and both of those in this quarter.
Yes, there's no question they worked that well. They give him plenty of space to run into. Sullivan, the player, kicking that ball through. Beautiful disposal. And again, just around in time. Did have Campbell as an option if you wanted him.
Ben Harrison coming on for a run. Broderick having a spell. He's knocked up getting kicks. Knights. He's certainly come into the game too as Matthew Knights. Welcome, Ben Harrison. He gets flattened as he attempts to get his first possession. Knights in there battling for it once again with Chris Johnson. But Vince will take charge. Primus, left hand down towards Boyd. Oh, caught is Bamford. It was like being sent to Pentridge. He was not going to get out. Bamford, who did I say? Banfield. Peter Banfield.
Yeah, Essendon.
Yes. Memory lapse. Bounce. Primus again, taken by Boyd. High kick. Up over the centre. Doing well is Barker. Kicked a goal earlier on in this quarter. Boyd Gets the hand pass away, maybe a fraction late. The cry of ball. And Chris Bond can't believe it.
Terrible decision of John Barker's there, wasn't it? To give it to his skipper 3 metres away with a kick.
Going on his wrong side. Under pressure from Campbell.
So a bounce. Just about in the middle. Boyd tumbles a punt down towards right half forward. Michael Gale shows dash. Swings it round his body. He's had a couple go out of bounds and him on the full, and he hasn't been too impressed. So now he's got one back. Rohan Warfe. Bring it in.
Looks at his options up forward. Eventually goes long. Flies wide. Primus right underneath it. Big kick then from Boyd forward. Ball bounces. Has to wait his berth. Hawking comes over the top. And surely that's a free kick. That's untidy. I mean, there's a thing being frustrated and controlling yourself and doing the best you can. Just giving away an easy kick's not really the answer. Into Naish. Naish can break away. Into the centre's Kellaway. Goes back to Naish. So the old 1-2 now goes on his left foot. Kicks it out wide. Beats players in the air. First back there is Sullivan. Johnson's coming with him. Just worries him out of it. And eventually the ball over the line. So another throw in. And Richmond by 49 points. Just over 30 seconds to go of this second quarter.
Is 70 plays 21. Pike down towards right half forward. Manfield was there, couldn't take it cleanly, and again over the line. Martin Pike, 59 games under his belt. Primus, Gale, won by Benny Gale. Down towards Naish, gets a quick kick. It's going to be okay. Bounced over the line. So a throw in again. Primus using the right arm. Waiting down was Harrison for Richmond. Clean bowls just about everyone. At the back to tidy up was Manfield. Gives it off to Pike. Pike goes towards centre wing, but there's the siren. So no addition to the score. But better quarter. Certainly for Matthew Richardson, who booted 2 in that term. That's Benny Gale just leaving the arena. Marty Warry kicked 1 goal for Fitzroy in that term. The other come from John Barker. There's Atkins, though, leaving the ground. Also Primus. And behind him, Scott Bamford. Waiting to all gather and go off as one. Hard to really understand what they'd be thinking, Ross, isn't it?
The Fitzroy players?
Yes.
Well, that emotion that they obviously would have had prior to the game, Sandy, they used some physicality early just to try and upset Richmond, but then they've just got to get back to the basics of playing footy, and the players have destroyed them are Rogers, Richardson up forward, Campbell's had plenty of the footy, Broderick's plenty of the footy, and of course on the scoreboard they really should be further ahead, Richmond, but Fitzroy, I think, are going to find it very difficult to get back in this game, Sandy. There's no one that's really showing the way. They're all struggling in some form.
So they head in for their half-time address with coach Alan McConnell, who's also found it extremely difficult. Half-time here at the MCG. Richmond in complete control. 10-10-70. Fitzroy 3-3-21. And we're just about set for a start in this second half. Can the Lions make a bold showing? Well, Primus wins the opening ruck duel, but it's Bond who takes it away to Naish, who kicks to the half-forward line, and Rogers. Quiet first half, 14 kicks, 9 marks. Rogers was sensational with Broderick. Now Gale leads, then drops back. Tap towards the boundary line and tap over the boundary line for another throw-in. That was Jarrod Molloy. That left forward pocket. Special comments from Ross Glendinning, former champion. Now Primus. Well, he gives the hand pass away to Pike, who was standing still. He in turn finds Atkins. It was touched, so play on is the call. He kicks it in towards the middle. Bond. He's a real little terrier. I thought he might have been free kick there, Ross.
Might have, Sandy.
But wasn't. Warfe gives it away towards Pike. Pike back into the middle. Atkins will leave it for his young skipper Boyd. Drifts it into the centre, and now the Lions will look to go into attack. They've managed just 3 goals, 3 for the game today, and that's belted defensively over the line. Duncan Kellaway, gee, he's had a fine season for Richmond and is an excellent defender. Welcome back, Malcolm.
G'day, Sandy. How are you? So, yes, interesting game. Richmond obviously need to win it. Fitzroy fighting for some pride. Broderick had the footy in the first half, along with Matthew Rogers, really did have their names written on it.
But I just say to reply to Sandy there, Mel, that there's only been 11 free kicks given so far in the game, so they've let so many go, as they did last night as well. Actually, there's quite a number they didn't give last night that if they're there, you've got to pay them.
I agree. Boyd in over the ball, just need to keep his feet there. Campbell terrific in underneath. Great handball to Bond. Oh, this is great running here from Richmond. Ends up with Tate. Tate just wobbles the kick. It's not great. Doesn't favour Richardson. Really let him down with the skill. And great repulsive. I was going to say repulsive, but it was repellent really by the Fitzroy side from Jarrod Molloy. And a scramble really at half forward. McCarthy shows him the footy. Now goes in high. Flyers wanted here. From behind Chandler. Almost. And eventually it's kicked off the ground, and Fitzroy with Marty Warry has kicked his second and Fitzroy's 4th.
Well, it was a good jump, Mel, and a good rebound football there. Just the attack was repelled, quite right, but came back.
Thanks for that, Ross.
In fact, I think there's a couple of Richmond players wearing repellent because they got no near them. No, in all seriousness, it was a good effort. Chandler was the player to jump. Just couldn't quite control, but then Warry just cleaned up beautifully. Good snap, well played.
Well, let's see if that can give them a boost. 2 goals to Marty Warry. Primus beaten out of the centre, taken by Campbell. Kick partly smothered. Bond gives him assistance. Back to Campbell again. Goes for a clever little chip that didn't quite work. Socket back towards Michael Gale. It's back to its centre wing. He's got time to chip it back towards Rogers on half forward. And also there is Powell. Powell takes it. Kicks inside 50. Bond applies a very good tackle, and Warfe puts it straight over the line. And Bondi picks himself up and says, oh my hat. So a throw in. Left forward pocket. No one able to take it away cleanly. Eventually it's Pike who gives it away towards Chandler. Kicks to centre wing. Merenda is there. Has to be quick. Lions have the numbers. They should get away with this. Boyd eventually flicks it towards Chandler. Chandler goes outside to Bamford. He's got Atkins. Atkins gives it away. They're almost down to the 50. Parker gives it back again. Inside 50. No mark taken by Manfield. Picks himself up. He's close to the boundary line. He goes for the centering kick. Tiger numbers there, and Campbell is more than happy to concede a behind.
10-10, 4-4. 6 goals, 6 the margin. 42 points. Campbell kicks it to himself. Now bounces it away from full back. There's a player inside in Kellaway. Looks out wide. Doesn't quite hit the kick right either. And Barker accepts the mark. Now caught. Has to play on. Chips the ball forward and beautifully finds out the opposition player in Bond. Back to Campbell. So the skill's just starting to let the teams down a little bit. Gale goes to give off. Not called play on. So he goes back centre wing. And only all Smalls up forward. So he goes to that leading player in Powell. Powell now tries to control the kick to Richardson. Molloy comes with him. Punches beautifully away. Bond caught. Drops the ball. That should be holding the ball. It's not. They put the whistle away, as you've said, Ross. End up with Pike. Has to wait and deliver. Here's another one. So they're just trying to twirl with a handball to Molloy. There's enough of them there. Paxman gets a low one. Terrific grab down low. Now goes out wide. Really not the place to be there. Players back in the middle of the ground were better options.
Ooh.
Atkins tries to go off the ground. Here's Broderick. Relieves the pressure to Gale.
It's Michael Gale. Goes inside to Charles. His hand pass somewhat low for Tawney, but he's equal to the task. Michael Gale. Kick close to the line, but it bounces inside. And the veteran passes Michael, 161 games. There's the throw in.
There's a bit of jostling
in front
Sandy.
of the pack. And, Merenda has given away a free kick
To Dent.
Shouldn't say this, but I watched every centimetre, and that is unbelievable decision.
and now 50.
Just a bit of bike play, no, wasn't there? There's nothing in that at all. Just let the guys go.
So it brings Dent down to right half forward. And that's an awful kick. Straight to Gaspar. He lopes clear across that half back line, hoping to set something up on that outer side. Broderick was there, he got a hand to it. Atkins in front, they're hassling him all the way. Look at Broderick just chipping in, takes it, gives it back to his teammate there in Ryan. A high kick back towards centre wing. Rogers not on the half volley. Bond, like greased lightning, still going. Gives it back to Broderick. Now they've got it clear. Campbell wanted to go on with the job. Who, me, he says? Johnson a pleading look. He goes for Charles. And the big man plays on. You want to take me on? Catch me. And he floats an ugly punt into the left forward pocket.
Well, the idea was right, but just not balanced enough.
Boundary throw in. Left forward pocket for Richmond. Over the head of both players. Richardson knocks it the goal square to Naish, and they've got a goal or a point. It's a point. So just misread that on the other side of the post then. There wasn't a lot of jubilation from the Richmond players. So 10-11, and that's their first score for the quarter as Dent brings it into Johnson,
Who goes back again to that player. And they share it out of defence. He's a goer, this boy, don't worry about that. Off to Chandler. Back again. Oh, he runs straight into Michael Gale. Loses the football. Rogers and Broderick combine with Michael Gale. Hurriedly flicks it up towards his brother Benny, who's on 50. Couldn't quite take it with the one hand. Tries to lock it up now and get Molloy in there at the same time. Bamford gets the hand pass away to Dent. Atkins is clear on centre wing. Away he goes. To right half forward, a better looking kick, and the tumbling mark is taken. So Fitzroy are going to get an opportunity through McCarthy to have a shot for their 5th goal.
Hasn't seen much of the footy today, John McCarthy, just 2 and 6.
Just wondering, Ross, with the thumbing at the moment, going from that natural light to the light, artificial light. Just wonder if some of the guys are having trouble just picking the ball up.
Yeah, maybe so, but some of their skill areas, though, Mel, have made it more difficult. Yeah.
McCarthy on a 45-degree angle. Goes across the face of goal, and I think it had already gone through from behind. Yes. So his first score, and Fitzroy moved to 4-5. Broderick whips it back into play to Kellaway. Back to Campbell, back to Broderick. Like a triangle. The three of them trying to work it clear, although that kick wasn't exactly brilliant. Well done by Pike to get through some very hairy traffic, but a poor kick puts it straight down the throat again of Wayne Campbell. What a year he had last year. In fact, at this time they were saying Wayne Campbell for the Brownlow. It wasn't to be. Just on that, who's your tip this year, Ross, for the Brownlow?
Well, this seems to be good money for Kelly. I think Hurd's had a pretty good year too, Sandy.
Yeah. In towards Richardson, out the back. Richardson can tap it forward. He's being held, he's being held, he's being held.
Yes, he certainly was being held.
And your thoughts, Malcolm? Who do you like for the Brown line?
I like Matera, G. Hocking and Kelly.
Richardson for number 3. First 2 came in the second quarter, close to the man on the mark, and I think he's popped it through.
There's just some frustration there by Fitzroy, and the play just coming in there, and Richardson's heights allowed him just to control the ball. And Molloy, just knowing he couldn't restrict his grabs him by the jumper, assume he's going to control the footy, which he did. And Richardson did the right thing. Obvious free kick.
It's interesting, he's in the 80s now with his goal kicking for the season, so that's 4 goals a game roughly as a floating forward rather than a full forward. It's pretty good. Back in the centre, Primus gets it down to Chandler, gives it off quickly to Pike, has Atkins in support, runs wide now to the corner of the square, brings it back on the left foot, and almost the mark there to Tate, falls to Kellaway, goes back confidently back to Gasper, across goals. This is Ryan, chips the ball out to Tawney, so they bring it away pretty well with a wobbly kick then to Bond. He goes back to Charles, caught. Boyd also caught, trying to work hard to get the ball out, and another ball up. So Brett Boyd, the first one of the players signed by the Brisbane Bears to be known as the Brisbane Lions for next year. Primus taps it down. That's good to Boyd. Kicks it high. Players come at it. Campbell to Kellaway, and now to Sullivan. Hooks the ball around the goal line, around the boundary line, I should say. Naish can run. Very direct play to Richardson. Drops the mark. Really probably should have taken that one. Molloy, Paxman it was, just put enough pressure. Here's Gale. Gets it. Richmond should have been tackled. Very ordinary from Pike. The ball comes back inside. Rogers is there. Boyd also runs the gauntlet. Naish legged. Has help now with Powell. Off to Broderick. Gives it up to Pike. Tries to break the tackle. Can't. Now Dent under pressure. Broderick also off to Campbell. And the Tigers get away through Richardson. Just untidy passage of play, but eventually a bit of quality in Wayne Campbell to Matthew Richardson. A very difficult kick. Had a lot of kicks, had a lot of the balls fall forward. Kicks and out of bounds on the fall. Did not even scare the goal umpires anywhere near it. And Sandy, if that was you, you'd probably say, oh my hat.
Yeah, it's not what he had in mind.
Why would you say that, Mel? Yeah, it's a poor kick from Richardson. When you, as Mel said, he's had plenty of the football. 15 and 2 with 12 marks.
He's got 3 for the day, but he's certainly had a chance to snare quite a bag. Campbell's picking up a ton of possessions. That's kick number 17 to Wayne Campbell. Giving it away, however. Atkins has it at half back. Floats it up over the middle. Tape got a hand to it and was the first to recover. He's a very good player. Oh, and he's got the runners out wide. Bond is there, and away he sails again. In towards Richardson, and he doesn't let him down. Knights is saying, here we are in the square. Head our way. Benny Gale's there as well. From 55 metres. He lets this one go. It's a long bomb. Gale at the back. Somewhat of a rout is developing here. Gale going for his first goal for the day and gets it. So that's his 29th for the season. And they're really starting to motor now, Roscoe.
Yes, you're starting to shirt around that goal line. There are now 7 goal kickers with Benny Gale getting his first, and Richardson just doing the right thing here, not his distance, so pushes up high, gives Gale the opportunity. Fitzroy players looking for a free kick to Paxman. Not so. But again, it's that ability of the midfield players to run away, and also the ability of the half-back line of Richmond to repel any attack of Fitzroy and find those runners coming through the middle.
Umpire David Howlett puts it back down. The margin really starting to creep out now. Charles gets a second hit at it. Naish caught in. Oh, gets his little kick in. That was well played. Goes forward. Here's Richardson. He's had 13 marks. It's unbelievable. Broderick had 300 possessions to Bond. Bond can run. Give it to Knights. And Knights can a soda goal or a handle over the top to Gale. So he gets 2 in 30 seconds. And maybe another kick. As he was severely dealt with by Pike after.
Yes, an umpire Tim Pfeiffer saying there, Mel, no, not worthy of another kick, but just far too easy. Just good sharing the footy, first option, instinctive stuff, and good running by Bond to draw the player over the top. Could have been Rogers or Gale.
Brendan Gale with 2 goals. 2 quick goals in this third quarter. Back in the centre. The Tigers really just starting to force the issue now. Starting to win some ball in the middle. Campbell's handball goes to Bamford. Bamford tries to use his pace, then caught. Comes back for a second attempt. That's pretty well done. Atkins is clever with the hands. Oh, here's all the Fitzroy players. They run the forward way. Kick forward. Big jump from behind. No ball. And Burke mops up nicely at the back. Goes to the safety of the boundary line. Players run after it. Primus first there. Closing is Ryan. And the big fella's just having trouble getting down to it. So Campbell pinches it. Now wants some help. Just wobbles the ball forward towards centre wing. Coming hard at it. Powell overruns it. Here's Boyd. Comes back into the middle of the ground.
Finds Atkins. He's forced to go short again. Back to his skipper. Boyd to half forward. Oh, excellent attempt to mark in front, and he's going to be paid to Gaspar.
He's done well, Gaspar.
Yep. Came to the club under a lot of pressure, and as Ross said, has done well. Sullivan started on the bench. Bond sees that go out of bounds on the full. Trying a little Ronald Biggs steal. It didn't work. Fitzroy this quarter have kicked 1 goal 2, and they are having great trouble penetrating this defence, led by Gaspar, Tape and Kellaway and co. They've done an excellent job. There's courage shown by Naish. Away he can run. Chipping it into half forward is good. Mark not taken, but they've got the players there. This is Powell. Centering kick towards Benny Gale on the half ball. He couldn't quite take it cleanly. They crunch him into the ground. And the umpire says, I'll have it. And the frustrated Jarrod Molloy throws the ball into the ground.
And the option there, I thought, perhaps wasn't the kick, but maybe the handball to Rogers, who was free.
Bamford. High into the centre. Charles has his name on that, as Malcolm would say. To half forward. Knights is at the back, and he's pretty quick. Molloy is heading towards the line in frustration and the bounce.
A lot of names on that footy, Sandy.
Oh, the phone book. Fitzroy's last goal. 3 minutes into this quarter, and we've got just under 6 minutes remaining. Gale straight up and down, some heavy work, sees that ball come towards Knight. Oh, he bounces up beautifully and he kicks sensationally well. So Richardson will have a shot directly in front, 35 metres out, and a chance to kick his 4th.
Yeah, it's great work by Knight, isn't it, to get barreled like that, just to hold the football with
Bounced
strong
up.
hands and just bounced up.
This for number 14 for the Tigers from 40 metres. Richardson, again, a somewhat tentative kick, but it's okay. It's straight. 4 goals to Matthew Richardson.
Ross, it's a bit like if you give Knights any room at all, he's going to find something, isn't he? I mean,
Yes,
the quality of the kick.
Yep, and he's a bit like Robert Harvey, and then he gets a bit of space and he just gets up and finds the gap. Here, just watch this. The ball comes to him. Up he gets and just puts it beautifully out in front of Richmond. Not directly to him, but enough space for him to run onto it.
Matthew Richardson with 4 goals. Primus gets his hand on it. Pack of players around it. Naish has to stop and wait. McCarthy trying to hassle him, does now, and pinches it off him, but not before the umpire's blown the whistle. So from the corner of the square almost, another bounce. Fitzroy just slightly into attack. Shepherding, surely, no. Primus gives it to Boyd. Kicks it out wide. Players now, the chase is on. Tape's been very good today. Running hard and eventually over the line.
There's a change been made by Robert Walls. Broderick comes off and Merenda on.
Mark Merenda. He's had a very good season. Players lock arms here. The umpire lets it go, which is fair enough because they both did it to each other simultaneously. And then another ball up. Matthew Primus. It's an 11-goal margin now. 66 points. Merenda straight into the action. Can't get his feet to the ball. High tackle looked like on Carter, but no free kick. And I've seen him do that a lot this year. He actually gets that niggles, doesn't he? I mean,
no, I think he's a bit frustrated today, Mel. He just hasn't had as much as the footy as he'd like. 7-2. Oh, he's got a bit of fire in his belly.
Yeah. So another bounce. We haven't really travelled far in the last couple of minutes. In tight, Rogers just handballs it out the tape. And they run again, Richmond. Gee, they really have done this well. It's been pretty good. Kick. Richardson, just better judgment. Much better judgment.
Yeah, Paxman Mel thought it was going to go over the back, didn't he? So he read the ball to go further, and the carry just not quite there. The ball just dropping short, and the height of Richardson very much to his advantage there, just able to stretch.
Yes, Tawney was good, wasn't he? I mean, Tape and Tawney, they're flank Gasper, and they've been good across that half-back line, as you mentioned.
Yep.
So Matthew Richardson kicked from 40 metres, just inside 40 probably. It's a nice piece of turf, and that is his 5th. 5 goals to Matthew Richardson, and Richmond just streak away. 15-11, the Fitzroy 4-5.
And Mel, as you mentioned, if they get a few games through the finals, Richmond, he's a chance to get to 100. Because he's, as you say, into the 80s, now 83 goals. And with the opportunities he's had today, could very well be further ahead. He's also sneaking towards 200 career goals, which is a terrific effort in just 63 games.
Well, they needn't worry about percentage, Richmond. It's healthy enough as it is. They've just got to keep winning next week if they're going to be there. Michael Gale attempted to soccer that off the ground. So too did his teammate Bond and Merenda. The 3 of them had to go. They still surged it forward. And they power in towards full forward over the top, and Benny Gale takes the mark.
Well, that was Ben Harrison just kicking that ball forward. He's almost like a Wayne Campbell lookalike. And Gale just again with the height there, able to catch the footy before it goes across the line.
Wants to play on, goes onto the left foot and kicks a goal. So Gale has, am I right, 3 for the quarter?
Yes, same as Richardson, so a double-pronged attack up there, which is proving pretty effective as Wayne Campbell comes off for a rest and Joel Bowden comes on for his first run.
And as it shades, last time they met, they had a go in the first half and then wilted badly. Well, they go powering down towards half forward, apart from Johnson, who decides I'll put a stop to this, and the young man does. He might have to do it all on his own just about. Eventually gets the hand pass across towards Rombotis. Under a ton of pressure, the ball is locked up in there, and a cry of ball. It's heated by the umpire, and Burke will take it. Kicks towards the young man who's just come onto the ground, Joel Bowden. It goes over the top to Michael Gale. Runners everywhere, and they're loving this towards Benny Gale. Well, Powell's hand pass was like greased lightning, a little too quick. In fact, it may just open the door for the Lions to get out of trouble. Warfe to Bamford, in towards the centre. Taken away by Paxman. Paxman wider to Martin Pike. Look out, my boy. Gone. Bamford again. A high kick straight up and down. Paxman had to wait, and they all came over the top. Tawney. Clear. Inside 50. They're just waiting. Look at this. Give the hand pass or kick it. Decide for yourself, and he kicks a goal. That's number 6 to Matthew Richardson, who at quarter time hadn't kicked a goal. Yes. What do you say to that, Roscoe?
Well, I'm saying well done. Again, it's that rebound from half back. Burke just getting enough hands on it to push it forward. Harrison involved. And then Tawney, who's had a good Tawney, just eludes the tackle, takes a bounce, settles. And Richardson could very well have just handballed over to Gale, who did the right thing to get behind him and shepherd.
Well, he must like playing against Fitzroy because he booted 7 when they last met. And, had a big second half. 5 of those goals came in the second half. 2 in the third and 3 in the last. Thank you, Malcolm, for all that. And here they go again. Merenda wants to get in the goal-kicking action, but he's away to the left.
And in fact, Santa, remember the game, Brad Boyd actually played on him early and did very well. And it was almost as though when Boyd went off with Hammy, that Richmond then started to get on top, and Richardson really broke free. So I can understand why Boyd started on him today. Kick out. Flyers wanted. Nearly marked there by Barker. We're down to the last minute of this third quarter, which has really been all Richmond. Boyd gives it off to Atkins. Johnson just tries to hold it. That's a clever handball to Carter. Can run. Pike. Now to Barker. Barker tries to unload and goes 40 metres off the side of the boot. Not quite controlled down there by Warry. Kellaway. Kellaway's been good at the back. So it's this bloke Gasper. And they have players everywhere. This is young Harrison. And he bolts away. Kicks. Oh, it's too easy, isn't it? Richardson on his left foot can find Belden. But Joel Belden goes back, kicks, go, you'd think. No, off hands, can't get hold of it. So there's Carter. That's good running. He was running through the middle just not all that long ago. Comes across goal, and Dent takes the mark.
Plays on quickly. And only as far as Rohan Warfe as the siren sounds. An excellent quarter of football by Richmond. A 7-goal blast. They are in complete control of the situation, and they were able at the same time to restrict Fitzroy to just 1 goal, 2. And it was Gale and Matthew Richardson, Roscoe, who did the damage.
Yes, 7 goals between them, Sandy. 4 to Richardson and 3 to Gale, just proving very effective. They just continue to increase their lead, Richmond. 25 at quarter time, 45 at the main break, 49, I'm sorry, and now 85. They really are doing the right thing by themselves. And as I mentioned with Sandy at half time, irrespective of the opposition, it's just important coming to the finals that you get your players in form. Robert Walls is doing the right thing and resting some of those midfield runners on occasions. Broderick, Campbell, Merenda's come off a couple of times. So good consistent effort by Richmond.
Yes, they're in the box seat here. They'll move back into the 8 tonight. 17-12, 114. Fitzroy 4-5-29. And Donnelly also has 4 for the West Coast Eagles. It's a nightmare. Here we go. Final quarter. For the final time for Fitzroy in Melbourne. Can they win it out of the centre and do something positive? Yes, they can. Primus gives it to Warfe, and he heads for home up towards full forward. But Duncan Kellaway's been like the Rock of Gibraltar. Defends grandly. Bond takes the mark on the half-back flank. As usual, no frills, no fuss. Gets on with it to David Burke, who was slung as he gives his kick to Knights. Knights gives it off to Rogers. It's like a procession, and it's continuing on. Goes into the open space, almost taking it was Bowden on the half volley. McCarthy stormed through but couldn't take the ball with him. Molloy has been frustrated all day. Comes out the back door, is going to be okay. He finds Boyd on half back.
Boyd gives it off to Chandler. uses the ball towards teammates, or straight through players' hands. That was Matthew Manfield, and this back line of Richmond's been good. Now smothered. Here's Boyd, has a chance, measures the kick. Players go at it. Underneath it was Paxman, coming hard out at Warry. Met solidly there was Tawney. So they try and work hard here. Get it out to Manfield. He's under enormous pressure. Paxman caught, tries to unload it. Gale working hard back in the goal square. And Richmond through Tawney. Break clear, kick it out wide. Players out there is Bowden. Lets it bounce. Has a player in support, and that is Sullivan. Just swings the ball back into the centre. Richmond players everywhere. Merenda now goes long. And why wouldn't you? Gale out in front, jumps early and marks it. And Sandy, in this game last time they played, Richardson, as you said, got 7 and Brendan Gale got 5, so that's 12 between them. They've currently got 9 lining up for the 10th between them. So the two big fellas they really have had trouble with in the 2 games this year, and particularly in the second half. Brendan Gale with 3. 31 goals for the season. Kicks and pushes it to the right. So they remain on 9 between them. And a point just results to Richmond.
Great defensive work in the back half, though, just to stifle that run of what looked to be a certain goal for Fitzroy. Just tackling and pressure. Good stuff by Richmond.
Jarrod Molloy to do the kicking in. Charles, the spoiler from behind, although it does come out the back door towards Bond. He almost throws it away to Merenda, who accepts it quite gleefully. Kicks to half forward. Richardson, oh, he copped a heavy one. And he's down behind play as the mark is taken. Richardson is very slow to get up. I don't think you can believe it, but Powell, in the meantime, is going to take the kick. I think he just had the wind well and truly knocked out of his sails.
There's a spoil by Molloy coming from behind.
Not very subtle. There's another goal. So the route continues, I'm afraid. Richardson's okay. Richmond have their 18th. 18-13 plays 4-5.
Yes, and his dominance in terms of looking at Richardson here going for this mark against 17 marks from predominantly an area not more than about 40 metres out from goal. Just an outstanding effort. And this time Powell gets in on the act, becomes their 8th goal kicker. Powell was, I'm sorry.
Back in the centre. Merenda caught underneath it. Now Charles, done this a few times today. Break clear. Richardson with a jump from behind Gale, in fact. Puts the ball to ground. Pike's there with McCarthy. Winds his way out of trouble in, misses really with a regulation handball. Gee, Molloy looks sore or slow. Just got the protective groin wear on there. Ross, he just looks a bit slow, doesn't he? Looks a bit wounded to me.
Yeah, maybe there's a change coming up here.
Gale and Primus. Just tap it down. Atkins just can't get hold of it. Bond jumps on it. Merenda spins his way out of trouble, then manages to get the ball forward. Running back with a flight. Here's Richardson, and kicks the ball very high, and behind the results again. So that's his 4th. He's now kicked 6-4. Odds on a 100-point margin here, you'd have to think on offer.
Yes. Just 7 points away from that at the moment as Dent brings it back into play. Brad Boyd caught. Tried to get it out towards Bamford, or an attempted soccer off the ground there by Chandler. Atkins has it close to the line. He wants to sweep it back in towards Baldwin and Pike. It's the latter who comes steaming through. He's tried that a couple of times today. Kicks towards half forward. Michael Gale, resolute. Oh, was held, and he didn't have the ball, and he'll take the free kick. Well, he's got players loose if he wants them. Maybe probably pick Charles. Rogers is alone in the square, but he's had a problem all day. Picked up kicks at will. Knights swings into half forward. Here he is. Speak of the devil. Rogers. Beautifully done. Molloy, the spoil's okay. The snap is by Bowden, and he's kicked one. They're all getting in on the act now. Roscoe wanted him to kick the last one, but he's had to wait, and he has.
Yes, I had him up early, didn't I? Oh, dear.
So they've kicked now by Malcolm signalling the last 9.
9 players have kicked goals for Richmond.
It's close. It was a good snap too, so again, good sharing the ball, and just an untidy free kick across half forward.
And also
by Fitzroy.
Sorry, Ross.
In fact, they have kicked.
Yeah.
9 goals, 3.
Wait, you guys okay?
We're back in the centre. There we go. Handball comes out to Warfe. Tried hard. Just kicks the ball up. Paxman at the back. Not in the advantageous position. Tate does well to keep him away from it. And eventually the ball out of bounds. So, yes, 9 players have kicked goals. And just to get that right again, 9, they've kicked the last 9. And Matthew Knights coming off and Broderick back on. So at least that's another sort of 3 and a bit quarters game underneath the belt for Matthew Knights. But I have to agree with you, Ross. He does look a bit proppy. Tap over the back. Atkins tries to get there first. Charles off to Merenda. Goes underground with a handball. Tate caught. Good enough to get out of it to Harrison. Just swings the ball back into the middle. Oh, terrific mark from Chandler. Looks out wide and finds Atkins. That's good too from Brad Boyd there. Just give him a pat on the head. It's really, they've probably, other than the first quarter, they've probably shared the footy a bit through this midfield, with just their skills and the Richmond fence being too good. Atkins, going to say, would test him with this distance, and it does. Oh, big pack of players. Huge pack. Tawny's done this a lot of times today. Come out wide. Bond, yes.
Ah, catch.
I said a word in our game. Of course it is. It's in the rules. But we won't go over that again, Sandy, from last night.
What a sensational grab, though. He goes short to Merenda. Merenda kicks into the man on the mark and then retrieves it. It bounces straight back at him. Goes up towards half forward. Richardson was again interfered with, and the ironical cheers go up as David Howlett has picked this up. He's copped plenty this afternoon. Pops it in towards Benny Gale, who gives it off to Burke. He's taken high, although he did duck. So play on will be the call, correctly so. Baldwin will take the Chandler hand pass. Baldwin's got a bit of time. He has a look down towards centre wing. There's no one at home. There's no one. Michael Gale goes into the middle. They've all been told to get Wayne Campbell haircuts, and Ben Harrison has been one who's agreed to it. This should be a goal coming up. It is. That's Powell, and he's kicked 2 this quarter. And the lead is now out to 105 points.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too easy. The kick coming down from Baldwin through the centre. He knew the only one on short was covered, so he tried to go long. Popped up by Gale. The ball rebounds, and the goal results again.
Huge margin. Tigers doing it very convincingly indeed. Atkins tries to tap it off the ground. Gale does. Rogers breaks away. Kicks it towards Gale. Out in front. Almost marked. Doesn't drop a lot of ball to Naish. And Naish is into the goal kicking act.
Who's doing the votes?
Ross.
Should be very interesting.
Second goal to Chris Naish, and Richmond's 21st.
You're trying to have some influence there, Sandiego?
No, I just mean there's been such an even performance by Richmond as a team.
Yes, no, and again, Rogers featuring. He's just quietened off a little bit. I agree with you, Mal. That Benny Gale just at times drops some of those that he really should take, given the opportunity he does have. We've got a double change here for Richmond. Knights and Campbell to come back on. Bond and Naish for a rest.
It's like a running machine being interchanged, isn't it? 21-14 plays 4-5. And an infringement within the square sees it go the way of Fitzroy. So Primus gets the hand pass away. They kick it out towards Baldwin. He had it for a moment, but then lost it. They run it out courtesy of Ben Harrison, who started proceedings. It finishes with Merenda. Merenda gives it off to Charles. He looks down towards the two big guns again. Gale and Richardson were both there, almost scooped out illegally, but play allowed to go on. Finishes with Wayne Campbell. Caught. Ball is held, and a bounce will take place inside 50. Fitzroy's last score coming at the 10-minute mark of the third quarter. Charles comes over the top. Who's on the end of it? Bowden and Powell are both there. Harrison also is ridden into the ground. It's flick wide. Comes to Benny Gale. Could have been from Tawney. Gale caught on that occasion. The ball spilled free. Gives Bamford a chance. And he scoots away. Two bounces. He's through the centre. Maybe something promising can come from this. He combines with Chandler. Still going. Inside 50, almost leg, but it won't deter him. He carries on and he shoots towards goal. And tape marks on the last line of defence. And now they'll come out. They've got players everywhere. Through the Seagulls, I can see Charles. Give it away towards Rogers. He kicks up towards right half forward. Good use of the body by Bowden. Bowden puts them inside 50. Richardson tries to turn on a sixpence. Not quite enough. McCarthy is there. Take over Malcolm. The Seagulls are blocking me.
The handball comes out to Primus. Has to wait for it. Oh, ends up back with Sullivan. You'd think 2-on-1 here at the back. Outnumbered. And perfectly done by Richardson. He just had goal written over it once the ball was lost in front of the members. And yet another name on the ball.
Oh dear. Hope you use a different ink, Mel. I stand it.
There he is for goal number 7. It's a big day, isn't it? No matter which way you look at it. 18 marks. And a lucky 7 for Matthew Richardson.
Yeah.
Richo rules, he certainly does.
Yeah, no doubt about that. He's had an outstanding game. Very well, more dominant with the opportunities he's had, but you can't query that effort. Just here, McCarthy giving the ball off towards teammate. Back again. And just a bit of a fumble down here. Primus hitting his knees. And the rebound comes back.
Well, the margin when they met earlier in the season was 92 points. Could be 192 this time. Chandler, who's tried desperately hard, tries to get it out, but Burke just with sheer persistence runs it free towards Bowden. Floating kick in towards full forward. It's two. They're having a fielder. It's like going to the Royal Show.
You just qualify that, Ted?
I think you get presents and show bags, and I tell you what, Benny Gale and Matthew Richardson are getting show bags today because they are having a feast.
And the applause for Darren Gaspers. He comes off for a rest and Naish to come back on.
Gale trying to go goal for goal with Richardson since half-time. And he's threaded that one through. There's another one.
As we look further ahead, Sandy, to Richmond's next game, which is against North Melbourne, it certainly sets up for a great tourney with these two forwards in great form, and the midfield, both sides having good midfield running players. Well, the last time that North and Richmond played, Glenn Archer was the player to match up on Richardson. If he's fit, he could very well get the job again.
And I might add an excellent crowd of 48,884 coming to say farewell to Fitzroy in Melbourne.
Yes, it is a good crowd. Disappointing day for them, but nevertheless, they're here. And I'm sure a lot of those former players are here in spirit. Campbell gets it back from Charles and then goes forward, and so the procession continues. As I mentioned, 7 and 5 they both got last time, Richardson and Gale, and here's Benny now going for his 5th. Richardson's already got his 7th. So could history repeat itself?
The dirty does it.
Now, ironically, the score last time was also 23-16 they kicked against 9-8 or thereabouts. So Brendan Gale
He's kicked it. He has kicked it.
It's gone over the goal umpire's hat. Great kick. He's got 5. Richardson's got 7. And the slaughter of the Lion in their last game in Melbourne continues.
Yes, and 5 to Benny Gale. It's been a terrific effort to get those kicks straight, and great for his confidence. Just to put that ball through straight over the top of the umpire's head. And he's done very well.
Fitzroy have not scored in this quarter. Chandler ripped off the ball, but not before he gets the hand pass away. They maybe got a chance now. The mark not taken, but, well, it's going to be paid maybe a free kick for push. But the ball definitely hit the ground. Duncan Kellaway comes up looking somewhat remorseful, but there's nothing he can do about that. And Marty Warry has a chance to boot his 3rd goal.
Just his 7th game, Marty Warry. 3 last year on debut. Kicked 4 goals coming to this game.
And this to break a run of 14 unanswered goals. Kicking from 40 metres, slightly stammering approach. You could forgive him for that. But he's got the goal. Oh, thank you, he says. At last.
And it looks as some of the Richmond players are saying to the goal umpire that they thought it went over the top of the goalpost.
See, the Fitzroy supporters allowed 5 cheers today, aren't they, Ross?
Yeah.
Hey?
That's a good mark in the end. Actually controlled that, Sandy.
Yeah.
Didn't quite hit the ground, so good decision.
Yep. In fact, I think Warriors kicked their last 3. Would that be right, Malcolm?
I think you're right. Back in the centre. Merenda hoiks it out of the air. Campbell gets blocked out of it. 3-4 Richmond Fitzroy players come at it. And Brett Chandler holds him up. So we'll have a bounce. Very close to the original after that Marty Warry goal. Oh, that's a free kick, surely. Well, Primus still ended up with it. Charles went early. Here's Gale running off the back line. The handball hits Campbell. He's running. Goes onto his left side. Kicks. Oh, the ball bounces up awkwardly for Richmond. And Merenda kicks it forward. Gale. Well, it's almost been a procession in the second half, hasn't it? It's either Richardson. If Richardson doesn't get you, Gale does.
Well, in the second half, Richmond at the moment has kicked 14 goals 4 to Fitzroy's 1 goal 2. So yes, you're pretty well spot on.
And this will be, if he kicks this, will be 11 out of 15 in the second half for Richardson and Gale, and he has done that, so he's kicked his 6. Someone once said to me, Ross, you should never miss these sorts of games and never miss the party, and they do your stats enormously good throughout the year.
Oh yes, and it's always it is no question good for confidence. It doesn't matter what time of the year. If you can get players into form and get some good touch, doesn't matter what the game is, it's very important. And marking like that under those conditions is always a great confidence booster, particularly for someone who does rely on his marking so much, like Brendan Gale.
Well, Fitzroy has 6.5 minutes of football left to play in Melbourne as a club. Tape at the bottom of the pack. Has good support from Bowden. Started on the bench, he's done well. Sullivan chops his way through and he does it beautifully. Broderick finishing as he started. Just pops it over the top. He needs someone going past. No, he doesn't. He blazes away, Matty Richardson. Knights is lurking back there. He needs a Shane Warne spin, but he doesn't get it. And it's the high.
And just gesturing to Matty Richardson not to kick the ball like that.
Yeah.
Richardson was going for goal. He should very well just put that in the path of Matty Knights.
Martin Pike. Off towards Dent. Now Baldwin. Drifts it in towards Boyd in the centre. He runs through the middle now. They get it down to half forward. Can McCarthy take a mark? No, he can't. And this defence, gee, they've been good. Tawney and co. Sullivan gives it away to Tape. And Jamie Tape runs to the outer side as they make another change. I think it's Bond coming back on, isn't it, Ross?
Yes, it is. Charles
towards
off.
Full forward. Gale this time couldn't take it, but it's socket straight to Campbell, and he will kick a goal. So Wayne gets his first, his 15th for the year. Now what's that? What's his?
The 10th goal kicker. So it's good to see them sharing that around. And as we mentioned, Bond has come off to replace Charles, who's having a breather. So Ben Harrison will be the centre bounce ruckman for Richmond as the clearing socket comes to Campbell, who just pops his through under a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, it's interesting move this. Harrison has to wait. You'd think Primus will win it, and he does. But the Richmond midfield was good then. Set up Sullivan. Has to run onto it. Does that nicely now. Comes back inside Pike. Does a handball. Then kicks from 48 metres. And it is absolutely raining goals for the Tigers.
Don't tell me that's number 11, Ross.
Oh, hang on. Just let me get my abacus, Sandy. No, it's even important too for players like Sullivan, Powell, Bowden, just to get involved in this game, Harrison, and just give themselves a chance to be looked at selection in the closing weeks of the season. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who's to come back in. Daffy, possibly.
Bullis, of course.
Bullis,
yeah.
Maybe Howlett.
Yeah.
Well, we're back in the middle once again. And it really is Fitzroy's worst nightmare as far as finishing in Melbourne. It's the absolute last thing they wanted. Atkins gives it off towards Dent, who can chip up towards the half-forward line. Bamford towards the running Johnson. Now, he can go on with it, and he likes these sort of challenges. Elects to go short, and there's a sensational attempt to mark by Kellaway, and he pops back up again, is in the thick of things. Tape lost it for a minute, gets it back again to Broderick, off to Kellaway, and they're out of trouble again. The hand pass from Bowden's going to be okay. Off to the little goal kicker Sullivan, and they surge down the ground. Kellaway showing the way with Sullivan into Naish. Who's going to kick this one? Let's have a little raffle here. Merenda, 52 out. Richardson backing back into the pack. Sees it fly off to the side, and it goes out of bounds. A throw in the right forward pocket.
There's nearly 50,000 watching this last game of Fitzroy and Melbourne, which is a pretty good crowd. Appeared to come in a bit late too, didn't it? I mean, most people just a leisurely Sunday in Melbourne. Great tap from Primus to Boyd. He's got his touches, Boyd. Not as clean as normal. Powell kicks very high and a bit wide, and only a point results. So it's pretty good kicking here from Richmond. 27-16. Fitzroy 5-5.
When you consider they started with 4-9 in the first quarter.
Yes.
3.5 minutes left. Primus in the front. Naish waiting down. Oh, they handle it so quickly, and it looks so good when it's all going beautifully for them, and it is now. Rogers should put this one away, but it's away to the right.
It's his first blemish. I think he was the catalyst for the start too. I mean, he's the one that got them running. 3 goals in that first quarter.
20 kicks, 10 marks. Almost losing his pants is Paxman, but gets a free kick on that outer side. The sting is what sting was left in this side has certainly died out of it now. Harrison in front, couldn't take the mark, had to try and beat a couple of them. Pike did well. He battled hard, but it didn't win the football in the end. Fat gave it away. Broderick bounces his way now. He should goal. Going to have a shot from 47 metres. In fact, I think he's trying for the centering kick. It's spoon towards goal. Looking around for a free kick was Benny Gale. To no avail. it's slammed into the side of the post and run behind.
Interestingly, Sandy, that's their first rush point, which just shows you how much ball they've won on the full forward line. Incredible. You hardly ever see that in a game. Just 1 point. Great mark from Johnson from behind. So he's forced back. Looks forward. Kicks it high. Big fly wanted. No one can get hold of it. Now McCarthy taps it forward. Atkins needs a quick hand out wide to ball and does. Sets up Bamford. Here we go. Inside 50 now. Scotty Bamford kicks from 45 metres. And once again, the ball across to the white. Particularly in this wind, it's gone across to the right a lot.
Actually, it's interesting. Despite the absolute drubbing they're getting, unless everyone here is a Richmond supporter, people are not leaving. So, which is a good thing. It'll be very nice if they would stay and say farewell to Fitzroy in a fitting manner. Atkins can have a shot or a short little chip. He elected the latter. It was a very poor option. Now he's got Jamie Tate wide. Has to beat Baldwin, and he does. I really like Tate. Over centre wing he goes. There's a line of them there. Richardson sweeps it in towards centre wing. The lookalikes, Harrison and Campbell, are both there. Taken by the former. Here comes Benny. No one in the square, so he can go back and let one go. He did think about it for a moment. Now, I need Ross's abacus almost. I think he's booted 6.5. So, and I think he fancies himself here to make it number 7, and this number 28 for the day. Kicking from 46 metres, kicking to the left, and a point.
(27-19 to 5-6). Dent plays the ball to himself. I think goes a lovely long kick. That's a lovely kick. And Molloy puts up his arms and takes a nice mark. Just gives it off to Chandler. There's a player out wide in Bamford. The handball doesn't hit, but it sits up for him. He has to go inside and give it away. Merenda, Sullivan and Kellaway. See, they've really done this a lot, haven't they, at the Bowden. Broderick just holds it up now. Now tries to deliver the ball into Richardson. He's got it. It's a courageous mark. Plays on quickly to Powell. Powell from 25 metres out has kicked another one. His third. And 3 goals in this last quarter to Robert Powell. And 28 goals is a big score at any time of the year, Ross. But right now, it's not going to help them with percentage, as Sandy mentioned earlier about that half win that Hawthorn have, but perhaps against North next week. I mean, as you say, players getting confident. You can get overconfident, but I don't think they've done that, really.
I don't think so, no. They've continued to share the ball around. They haven't finessed or been too flippant with the footy.
Inside the last 20 seconds. Back in the middle. Johnson tries to tap it to Atkins. He succeeds. Back to Primus. Wouldn't it be nice if they could finish with a goal? To the half-forward line. Richmond defence. Well, they're misers. They have other ideas. And Jamie Tate says, no way, Jose. And he kicks towards centre wing and Richardson. There's the siren as Richardson lets it go into the stands. The end has come in Melbourne for Fitzroy. Listen to the Richmond theme song, but it is the Fitzroy flags that are flying as they say farewell. And isn't that nice to see all the players gathering in the centre of the MCG? They all know what it's about. wouldn't be surprised if there's some form of presentation, as a cordon has quickly been rung up around these players. It's quite emotional scenes, really, to see opposition players hugging each other. It's Marty Warry chatting with young David Burke. But Richmond, of course, must look towards winning next week. And Fitzroy have one more journey to make.
Sandy, I just can't help but feel so long, Fitzroy. Thanks for the memories. And I guess that's all we've got now, the Fitzroy Football Club. And you know, those young fellas out there today, they've done it tough for the last 10 weeks or so, knowing that their football club was finishing.
Let's go down to, sorry, Malcolm, the ground now. Fly, who have you got with you?
I got Matthew Richardson, Sandy. Bit of the yips early in that first quarter, mate. What happened in those kicking for goal?
Well, actually had a fair few shots at goal through the week, and I kicked badly, and I started off like that today, so started to straighten it out towards the end, I suppose.
Was there a bit of a reluctance to have a shot for goal because you missed a few? You wanted to give a few off.
Yeah, I was sitting a bit nervous, so I thought I'd better try and pass them off so the boys could make sure of them.
What did Robert Wall say before the game? You knew that Fitzroy would be pumped up with emotion?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, obviously they were their former players and they're down, so we just wanted to make sure we got the 4 points. Now, theme before the game was to get some confidence and form going into North next week and hopefully take on Brisbane in the final if we can win.
Did Walls mention before the game about Fitzroy's last game? Was that a point in the pre-match address at all?
Yeah, it was to a certain extent. You know, it's been pumped up in the press through the week, so all the players had that on their mind. But we knew if we just did what we did last week against Geelong, we could get the 4 points today.
So it must be very good for the confidence, beating Geelong or kicking their butts last week, but also today, whipping Fitzroy going to next week's game against North.
Yeah, well, that's what we were aiming to do. We had a good win last week, continued it on today, and got to beat North now next week.
How do you feel about your own form?
Yeah, it's been up and down, I suppose, this year, so I was glad to get a few touches today.
You kicked 7, about 20 marks. Congratulations, sensational effort. Well done.
Thanks, Russell.
These are great scenes here with Fitzroy getting a standing ovation from Richmond supporters who have joined in the Fitzroy theme song. And you can't help but be moved by what is taking place at the moment.
Yes, particularly when you think some of the battles, Ross, over the years that we've had against Fitzroy. They had their good times.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of tough times. And it's taken 100 years for them to finally succumb to the pressures, I suppose, of the modern football as we know it in the AFL.
Been great respect paid to them too by everyone here, which is just outstanding. As Sandy mentioned the last 5 minutes, it appeared as if no one left, and rightly so, they've stayed at the end just to make sure they pay their last respects as such. And it was also great to see the Richmond players applaud the Fitzroy group as they ran past, as well as the Richmond match committee and respective people. They're going to be careful here now.
They're going to lose control here now because a couple have started running onto the ground now. A couple of hundred have, and Richmond on this side of the ground have decided, that's it, boys. We've done our bit. Let's get off. We've got a game next week. And there are hundreds of fans streaming towards these Fitzroy players, and this is where things can get rather dangerous.
Yeah, I'm not so... It can, Sandy, I agree with that, but I'm not certain that...
it will.
Yes, the motion of the day.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're their heroes today. They're the Fitzroy players of today, and I don't think anyone in their right mind would do anything to touch them.
No, you'd hope.
And I think it's just fitting tribute for a club. I mean, it's sorry, isn't it? You just think of 100 years. It's just walked past our door. And they've got to go to Fremantle next week, and there was a fair argument for them to play this last game in Melbourne. I thought they may have done it. It wasn't to be. So this is the way the Melbourne fans that have followed Fitzroy. And I guess a lot of other people. 50,000 people, a lot of Tigers supporters here, but there was a lot of noise for Fitzroy. And I must admit, it is a sad day in footy, and unfortunately we had those changes. That's well on the way now. And history, 100 years of it, hopefully hasn't walked out the door. Hopefully we can all tell our grandkids and pass on the memories of the great warriors from Fitzroy.
Yes, 113 years, in fact, they've survived, but what a tough run they've had of late, losing 34 out of 35 games. And now thousands of fans have gathered around the team who are slowly but surely leaving the MCG for the final time. The final scoreline here then on Fitzroy's final game at the MCG. They were belted out of the park. so long to the tune of 28 goals, 19, 187. Dumped by 151 points. Fitzroy 5-6, 36.